Hey folks, last time you're going to see this polka dot shirt for a while. Scott Grove here with the Acoustic Guitar channel, and this is lesson 14, which actually makes it part 2 of theory for chord changes. Okay, so we're using numbers in place of chords. Okay, so we've already got two 1, 4s and 5s, and then we know that 2s, 3s, and 6s, okay, are probably about 80% of the time, if you use one, going to be a minor chord. Okay, so if you're figuring out songs and you're in the key of G, you know that it's probably got a 1, 4, and a 5 in it, or possibly a 7. If it don't have the 4, if it doesn't have the 5, it's going to have the 7. Then again, some songs are only one chord. Yes, that is true. There's been many #1 hits that are just one chord. Okay, very odd. Okay, but let's do stuff that's more imaginative. Okay, we'll finish up on how to do your theory on the chords when we left off on part 13. We were discussing just some minors and still doing 50s stuff, but it was something that let you realize how these numbers are called out. We did like we ended up with a C, A minor, F, G thing. So a C was the 1 chord, A minor was the 6th chord, and 4 and 5. So right down from C, straight down is F. So that's your 4. Then you can passing chord or 4, 5. Play that G, anything you want. You could play it up here. The reason we're able to move around so much is because we already know the chords, because we figured them out. We figured that it was a 1 was a C, a 2 minor was an A minor, and then F and G, because we knew it. They were. And it always makes it simple too, when you know you can go 1, 4 and 5 and 1, and 4 and 5, or this one. 7. Okay, whenever there's a 1 and a 7, it's most likely going to be followed by a 4. It's just things you can write down to remember. Again, we're working with power chords, which we just kind of tossed in, not with chords, but in our lesson here on theory. It just dropped in. So if you missed the power chords, hey, get them. And if you want to play them different, you can play, just know what they are. There's G, F, C, F. So G, write them down and then play them as normal chords. And then hopefully you'll never have to write them down again. You'll just kind of know, because that's easy, and if you look straight down while you're playing a G, you know that's a C note, so you know it's just going to be a G, an F, and a C by looking at it, because you know straight down is 4, and 2 of them back is your 7, so you're just going 7, 4, 7, 1, 7, 4, 7, and then the modal chord. Okay, I went all the way up to the 1 up there, from G here, an octave all the way up there. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so let's get the little, not really exceptions, but just to show you if you're working on a song, what you can expect to come across. Okay, again, if you're working on a song and you find out what key it's in, it's easy to, you can put an electronic tuner there that's turned on while the song is playing, and if the song is loud enough, when it goes to the 1, you can hear the 1 chord because it's the one that keeps repeating over again. You keep hearing that 1. But the tuner, if you have a chromatic tuner, which means it gets all the sharps and flats, all that stuff all the way, it'll actually show you what key it's in. It just picks up on the microphone on the tuner and it'll say it's an F sharp. And so, speaking of F sharp, that's what makes things easy. If you're an F and they want to sing an F sharp, whoever you're backing up, and you're like, oh no, what do? You got 1, 4, and 5. You got all the other stuff. 1, 2 minor, 4. It's the easiest thing to do, man. You got just these boxes to play in. It's amazing. Gotta love it, especially for songs that are in flat or sharp keys. And remember, as you should know, because you're supposed to know all the notes, but it's F sharp is the same as G flat, and it doesn't matter what you call it as long as you end up on the same fret. Okay, other people will argue with you for years and they are wrong. Okay, some people say that okay, this is F sharp, G, H, A, H. Can you believe it? Yep, there's about 20% of the world that will argue with you that G sharp is actually H. That stands for, huh? Okay, so you're figuring out songs. And you go to the 4, so we're in G. And 4. Okay, say for some reason, so that's 4, 2, so we did 1, and we look straight down, it's going to be a C, and then if we look at it, it's going to be an A, it's going to be the 2, but if we play the 2, and we know it's usually 80% minor, there's still a 20% chance. If you try that, it's going to be so close, but it's going to be awful sounding. If you try the minor, then try the major. Just play A regular. Because people do it all the time. Okay? But 20% of the time. But that's all the time. So there's your 1 and your 4. Now 2 major. And 5. 4, back to 2 major, back to 1. When you do that, that's a 4, because you went from G to a C, suspended 2. Why suspended 2? Okay? Because you're playing a C chord, but you have that D note in there. Because I dropped it down, and C, go up to the 2 of C, 1, 2, so I've got a C chord, but I've added a D, so that's a C sus 2. So G, and here's a 4 sus suspended second. They'll just say 4 2, or you know. Okay, so that's a 4 2, or just a 4 sus 2. Okay, now say you were going to go to a 6. Same thing, I'm just changing minors to majors, and you're in G. And we know, since this is 8, and somebody's going to call a 6, right here, 2 frets back is 7. So 2 frets back and 1 more, so it's going to be an E. But we're going to change it to major this time. So here's 1, major, because it's always going to be, usually. But then you get a 6, and you're listening to a song, and you've tried all this stuff, and a 1 and a 4 and a 5 weren't working. I mean, the 1 works and the 5 works, but there's only like one more chord. Okay, so you're going to try that 2, you're going to try the 3, and you're going to try the 6. Okay, because those are the other choices you have. If 1 and 5 are working and 4 never sounds right ever in the song, then you start picking. And generally you would pick the 2 next, try it, 2 minor. If that don't sound right, but it sounds real close except for one note that's horribly wrong, change it to a major. Then you've got 2 more chords to mess with, and that's it. That's going to be your 3 major or minor and your 6 major or minor. If it's none of those, it's not worth learning. That means it's one of those songs like or songs that are like, you know, weird crap, or you know, stuff that I would never play and I would never teach it. You can go to somebody else if you want to learn that garbage. I'm teaching music. I'm not teaching torture. Okay? So that's the big thing about that is you have the idea of why these numbers are here. It's always going to be 1s and 4s and 5s, but don't make everything a power chord. I mean, when it sounds like a power chord, of course, make it a power chord. But if it's just 1, 4, and 5, that's G, C, and D. You figured it out by doing power chords, but just play G, C, and D. You'll get used to it because you get used to it. Repetition is repetition. So 1, 4, 1, 5. Now if I go to the 1 and I go down to the 6, I might have to make it major. See, it's not horrible. It's just every now and then it will be major. Again, about 80% of the time, the 2, 3, and 6 chord will be minor. And that's just basically the rule. That's about how much it will pop up that way. And 20% of the time, one little finger is going to change and it'll be a major chord. So that's what you've got there. It just allows you to say, okay, if I'm in G, that's the 1, it's not going to be a C minor chord next. See, because it's wrong. It is going to be a C, but not a C minor, because it will never be that. It's just horrible. Here's 1, now 4 minor. It's just not going to be that. So now you have theory behind you. The 1, the 7, the 4, and 5. Yeah, they're going to be majors all the flipping time. Unless you are in some brooding song that is played in a minor key. Again, House of the Rising Sun is in a minor key. I might have said major earlier, but minor. There. Okay, and once again, minor is a feeling thing. If you're playing in minor, it's supposed to evoke either brooding, which means sadness, or something kind of dark and evil. Okay, almost every heavy metal song is in a minor key. Let's see. They're all in minors because they like it with a lot of distortion on the electric guitars, and it's just evil sounding. It's heavy. Okay, so that's where your songs that are in minor keys are going to come from, generally. Then you'll get writers like Cat Stevens, Billy Joel, a lot of your piano people, your Elton Johns and stuff, that will write songs in minor keys. It's generally the piano players that will write those songs. It doesn't mean you shouldn't learn how to play them. But by the same token, even if it is in minor, you're going to have if it's in A minor. There's a minor, a 3 minor, so we have now a 4 major and a 5 major. And then if we do a 6 minor, it sounds fine. I mean, a minor is a minor. It's usually only going to be the one chord that is the 1. But then again, you get songs like Dire Straits. Okay, so that was D minor, then C major, B flat major, then A major, then modal chord. So just taking the A chord and moving it around. Like I said, it's going to happen. Modal chords are great. You can just use them for everything. Here's Ted Nugent. Just a finger doing this. Or you can go. So don't underestimate the power of a 1-finger modal chord. Or this one. That was me doing 1, 4, and 5, but only using the D shape. Okay, same thing can happen with the F shape. And again, the way you know if you have 1, 4, and 5 with any shape, way you put yourself in check and you can figure it out. Or you can do big chords. Tequila. Okay, so that lets you know that when you're listening to songs, you can confidently go forward where no man has gone before. But you can start omitting or adding in things that are odd songs, you know, that just don't have 3 chords, or songs that have majors where a minor should be. It just, all that theory with chord numbers. See, 2 types of theory there, and you know you have to have them both. But this type here is what gets you to learning the songs, and that's the important thing. The other stuff is just as important, so that's why they're all lumped together. But this here actually lets you know what you can and what you cannot try when you're trying to figure out a song. And most importantly, if you're trying to write a song, now you know the chords that you can and cannot use in any given key. Okay, you're like, okay, I'll just try this chord to see if it takes me inspirationally somewhere. And if not, then try one of the others. Make it a major, make it a minor, explore all the avenues. But you'll know which ones you cannot use. Okay, you know there are certain limits to what sounds good. And this is what does it for you. I hope you enjoyed the fact that I condensed that down to things that will help you in all music that has been written so far, and things that you will write. You have all the tools to write a song now. I mean, you can do anything. It's don't forget, man, go back and get some of this strumming. I'm going to have more of that coming right up for you too, because you cannot avoid your strumming hand and picking hand. Very important. I'll get some more of that. So hey, there's your 5 more lessons for this week on the Acoustic channel for Scott Grove. I hope you dig it. Hope you like the polka dots. Got some more of those coming too. Okay. Thanks for checking out lesson number 14.